Previously on the Gemini Hammer Show. So, what happened after you went back to work? Well, for a few weeks, everything went pretty smoothly. All the management, again, had been rearranged. I informed the supervisor that the documentation that he was requesting should be on file in my employee file for the company. Wasn't too long after that, I ended up rupturing the second tendon in my finger. So it was at that point where I got told, quote unquote, I couldn't be legally worked until the finger situation was resolved 100%. They essentially said exactly what I said. I finally decided it was time to go ahead and have the finger removed. And this, of course, came after I hired my attorney. And I ended up having 3 industrial commission hearings that I won unanimously, all 3 of. I got the official approval to have the finger removed. January the 14th of 2025 would be the day that the amputation would take place. Part of me was gone forever. Then I woke up. I had my demon hand. So what happened after the amputation? Well, I healed for the last time. I went back to work.
He's Gemini Hammer, rage and grace. The good side preaches and the bad side breaks. A skeleton face in a screaming storm. He's a double-edged soul, beautifully deformed. Too much flash in a digital cage. He's peace and war on the same damn stage.
So, Gemini, are you ready to finish this story out? What the hell are you talking about? You already lost the finger. What more is there? Oh, more than you realize. So, we're going to finish it in this one? Oh, yes. But there's also going to be a really big announcement at the end of this one. So, what are we waiting for then? What happened when you went back to work for the last time? Well, before I get into that, I should probably go ahead and address one little thing that kind of got left out of the last video. And that is the fact that I think it was like a week before I went back this last time, I found out that UPS was taking me to court because they didn't want to pay for the amputation. Wait, what? They took you to court because they didn't want to pay for the amputation, even though you injured your hand there multiple times? Yeah, it's pretty dumb. Okay, so what happened with that? Well, let's just say that when I discovered that one, I started having some bad feelings, and I'll let Morgan Freeman explain exactly where I got with that one.
I don't give a shit.
Eloquent. Very eloquent. Thank you very much. So, what happened when you actually went back? So, I ended up going and talking with one of the supervisors that I had talked to before, who I knew had access to my employee file, who I had spoke to previously and got told what was in my file. However, this time he just magically didn't have access to those records. I'm telling you, it is almost like somebody higher up at UPS realized just how fucked they were and knows that I have a pattern of talking to specific people and just miraculously decided to eliminate that supervisor's access for me to get any type of information. Uh, Gemini, that's kind of conspiratorial, don't you think? Thinking that the whole company is out to get you? Probably. However, there was one issue that I realized real quick might be a little bit of a hassle to deal with in trying to gather my information. Okay, and what problem would that be? So, the problem that I discovered is that apparently the last fuck that I could ever give about this company or following their rules or whatever. Yo, did you see that? Did I see what? Dude, you didn't see that thing just fly right by your head there? No. What was it? Dude, it was so cool. It was quite literally the last fuck that I could ever give that went out the window with my finger. Now, it was at this point that I had two choices. I could either let UPS's bullshit slide, or I could start my own shit. Would you like to take a guess as to which one I decided to go with? Oh, I don't know. I'm assuming you let it slide. It was at that point that I guess you could just consider shit started. So, what did you end up doing? Well, being a part of the union, one good thing about the union is you can file grievances, which lead to hearings with your managers. So I started filing grievance after grievance after grievance after grievance. Anytime something happened, I filed a grievance. Anytime I needed to try to get paperwork, I filed a grievance. I filed an 11-page grievance that I typed up myself. It was about an hour and a half worth of talking into the hearing. Other people came and left because I was in there so long. So, why did you file all these grievances? So, I started filing the grievances so I could get a hearing with my management. When I ended up getting that hearing with my management, I laid the hell into them. I demanded documentation. I flat out told them where they screwed up. Now, being a part of the union, Teamsters was there too. Didn't really have much use for them. They were just there. I guess kind of a third party? Okay, so you had this hearing with your managers. Where did that lead you? Well, the result of that local hearing was that the whole situation got escalated, and eventually it became a state level thing. Okay, so what ended up happening with the state level hearing that you had? Well, in the words of the great Willy Wonka,
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
hold on, wait, so you're telling me you put all that time, effort, and energy into it and you just got nothing? Well, I wouldn't say that I got nothing. I would say that a message had been sent to UPS and I had their attention. Now, what that allowed me to do was gather all of my evidence and continue to build my case. From here on in, it gets kind of slow and somewhat boring. But needless to say that after this, UPS tried to play chicken with me when it came to a settlement offer. The problem is, UPS isn't very good at playing chicken. So, some time passed, and eventually, I decided to just settle it. Wait, hold on. So, after everything, you just settled out of court? Even though they were taking you to court, they're still paying you to not go to court, correct? That sounds about right. So, why did you decide to settle then? I mean, it must have been a nice big payday. You see, that's the thing. Everybody seems to think that it was all about the money as to why I settled. The real reason I settled was because I made my point. I had nothing else to prove. And that's where we find ourselves currently. Now, I'm just waiting. You're going to get this settlement. Okay. So, I'm assuming you're officially done with UPS? Yep, as of now, done with that retarded ass company, and I've been taking some time to work on our content, because we're going to try to get back into the content, like, pretty normally, pretty heavy. Okay, so what comes next? As far as what comes next, I guess you'll just have to wait until the next episode, won't you? Hold on, wait a second. You said that this was the last episode. The previously on section already said our story concludes. Yeah, the story itself right now is concluded. However, we have one more thing coming, and that's going to be the epilogue. And the epilogue is going to be essentially a rundown of why we did this whole series to begin with. Okay, so when can we expect that? Well, going to take a few weeks off, so that way we can get this settlement, we can get a few things taken care of, and when we upload the next video, it's going to be on a much better machine. Okay? Also, there's probably going to be a few changes coming. Okay, a few changes like what? We'll just have to wait and see. But that's going to do it for now. We've ended the story. Now the entire world knows how this happened. And I'm sure that in the end, I'm going to have a couple people who are really pissed off. A couple of them might try to seek revenge, but we're not worried about them. In fact, if you're watching this and you think that this is about revenge, go fuck yourself. So, that's going to do it, guys. We will catch you in the next one in a few weeks. And until then, hopefully you guys enjoy this. If you like anything you saw today, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this whole story. And that having been said, I am Gemini Hammer. And I am G-Mini. Surprised that there's going to be another episode. Yeah, you'll get over it. You'll be fine. Alright, so we will catch you in the next one. Peace. So, one thing that I left out of the last video is that before any of the settlement stuff was talked about, UPS did try to fuck me over with my money. What do you mean by that? I mean that when it came to fighting to get the benefits while I was off work, UPS tried to fuck me over with my money. And if there's one thing that you need to know about Gemini Hammer, you don't fuck with a bitch's money. You'll get cut. Why do I have a feeling that the whole reason you added this last part on was just to put that image up in the video? Because you might not exactly be wrong about that. Just saying.
He's Gemini Hammer, rage and grace. The good side preaches and the bad side breaks. A skeleton face in a streaming storm. He's a double-edged soul, beautifully deformed. Two minds clash in a digital cage. He's peace and war.